those who are in the auto sector should know that when you're working below the car, and if you have to tighten some bolts and things like that, it requires force. You're working against gravity. This is what the exoskeleton helps you. It multiplies force. Surprisingly, diversity was missing, so I added that on my own. So the four big themes to me, which secondary sources speak about, are Industry 4.0, AI, robotics. Number 3 is in terms of sustainability, and the fourth was in terms of diversity. And of course, a lot of stuff on wearables. So this is what the future of manufacturing will look like. Or this is really the trends that may shape the future of manufacturing based on secondary published sources. Now, I was thinking, is this a good approach? And I said, let's take a very different approach in terms of what the future will be. And this is a quote. I don't know how many of you follow ice hockey. So this Wayne Gretzky is an all-time great hockey player. He played for 5 teams. I don't know whether I mentioned this or not. He's a Canadian, but he played most of his hockey in the US. So he started playing hockey, by the way, from the age of 2 years, 10 months. But he's got a great quote, which, by the way, his father told him. And the quote goes like this: I skate to where the puck, puck is like a disc, it's like the ball in hockey. So I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. So I was just saying that, okay, if we have to look at the future of manufacturing, can we look on the basis of mega trends? So let me move. So what are mega trends? So typically, there are people in the world, and there are enough consultants, there are enough global bodies who have identified what are the mega trends which are impacting the world. So I'll mention some of them. For example, urbanization. What does it say? It says people are moving from villages, they're moving to bigger cities. Another is sustainability, green matters. Third mega trend is the number of people with higher incomes is increasing year by year by year. Fourth is in terms of nuclear families. Increasingly, you will find more and more people staying on their own rather than in joint families or rather than in larger families. So like that, there are multiple mega trends. So I said, let me look at the mega trends. These are for the future. And now let me apply it not on manufacturing directly, because manufacturing at the end of the day, we make products and offerings for customers. So let me apply the mega trends on who our stakeholders are. So it's a very outside-in approach. So let's look at our customers. We operate in an environment where there are regulators. Let's look at our bankers, the financiers. Let's look at society at large. And finally, talent. So I'm just sharing with you what is the future as far as these stakeholders are concerned. What are going to be the requirements, number one? If these are going to be the requirements, completely right, what does it mean for us who are in manufacturing? Then, of course, I will come down to what some of the consultants have to say. So let's begin with customers. So those of you who have, I mean, you know this, but if you ever go to call Google to your office, they will tell you customer journeys have become very complex. People move between offline, online, offline all the time. The younger people, they want what's called immediate gratification. They're not prepared to wait. And this is largely for India. Those of you who must be dealing with Indian customers, we all deal with them. Indian customers are value for money seekers. They will beat you down to the last naya paisa, still they are not satisfied. So this is typically Indian. It happens in our personal life also. So this is what customers are going to be, and you will see more of it going into the future. Second thing about regulators. So, capitalism has been under question all over the world. You must be knowing of moments like Occupy Wall Street, where people said that companies are only looking at their own profits, they're not looking at other stakeholders. So the regulators have no option but to jump in. Those of us who are listed, we know the kind of SEBI regulations that we have to now follow. Society, much more of equitable distribution, egalitarian. Much more of diversity is what we find. And talent. This piece I think most of us should know. One is when we talk about customers, we need to recognize that very often our customers are also in the same age group as the talent we wish to hire. In fact, the younger people which we want to hire, they mirror their counterparts who may not be working with us. So what do the younger people want today? I think the big piece is, of course, we heard about hybrid working, XCRs, great salaries, great careers, all that is there. I think the big piece is, and I think we must recognize, because recruiting, attracting in manufacturing, it's not really the most glamorous of jobs. I think the nobler purpose, that's important. So increasingly, you will find the younger people saying that I don't want to make work for a company where I deal with derivatives and options and credit swaps and all kind of esoteric financial instruments to make money. I want to see where real value is being created, and I want to see a company which is doing good to society. So I want to go back to my earlier slide. Manufacturing adds value, tangible value. We are a force multiplier of goodness. So this is what the customers would want going forward. And while we may talk about AI and we may talk about machine learning and we may talk about so many other things, if we don't satisfy our stakeholders, I don't think we have a right to exist, and I don't think we can exist. So everything that we do at the end of the day has to be aligned with a greater purpose. Many years back, Peter Drucker made a great comment. He said the purpose of all business is to create a customer profit. That's what he said. Now, if this is what the stakeholders want, I just thought, what should we do? We are finally simple people. We run factories. We produce goods. We try to sell it directly to institutions or to dealerships. So this is what it means. Let me go back to customers, and I spoke to you about customers. I spoke about that value for money. There are two things which we must understand. If we have to sell our offerings at prices that the customers are wanting to pay, we need to have very competitive cost structures. Now, a lot of technology that we are talking about has to support. Number two is mass customization. No two customers have the same buying journey. No two customers may necessarily want to buy the same stuff. They would want some variance. Customization. So factories have to be geared for mass customization. The third part is, I think it's a matter of time before it's going to be made mandatory. Every product that we sell, I think we will have to disclose what is the carbon. It's bound to come. It's a matter of time. Customers will want it, regulators will. The second thing which I just wanted to share with you, what does it mean for us if these are the mega trends impacting our stakeholders? From the regulators' point of view, they will expect much more of transparency. Much more of transparency. It's not only compliance. Compliance is passing. Compliance is given. Transparency. They would expect us to be good corporate citizens. So are we contributing our due in terms of taxes, in terms of employment, and so on and so forth? The third is, I will just jump to society at large. I don't know how many of you have factories, retail factories, which are in what I would say semi-rural areas. The locals expect us to be the de facto government in terms of providing them with everything. And I think the CSR role, if anything, has strengthened that. So whether in terms of water supply, whether in terms of power, whether in terms of livelihoods, society is expecting more from corporates. And of course, there's the other part. Society expects us to operate in a manner which is right. So the two big pieces as we move forward, the expectation from society would be in terms of livelihoods. The second would be in terms of our impact on the environment. Global warming and so many other things coming. So are we really making the environment worse, or are we doing our bit towards making the environment better? And for talent, Remember, they mirror the customers. We keep hearing we have the largest population in the world. We have the largest, youngest population in the world. We have the largest number of science graduates, engineers, so on and so forth. So employment is one big issue which talent will want. They will expect companies to be increasingly ethical. I don't know how many of you are following the US, and there are a lot of companies where the workmen have gone, the unions have gone on strike. And 70% of the younger people are saying they are right. 70% of the overall people, I guess 100% of the younger people. So they believe that prosperity has to be shared. If we are not seen as being right, talent will not join us, talent will not buy our products. And of course, the whole thing is we have to look at holder benefits rather than what is called shareholder benefits. So these were my own thoughts on the basis of the mega trends. Just try to kind of apply it to the stakeholders, to the earlier slide, and what do we need to do? Now, going forward, I just thought let me share with you in terms of what these strategy consultants have to say. So a couple of slides on that. The first thing strategy consultants have to say going forward, and to me, these are perennial truths. They were there earlier, they're there today, they're going to be here for all times to come. So they say manufacturing, true for all of us, we are going to continue facing 4 challenges. I don't say continue, but I think we have always faced challenges. One is productivity. There's always been waste in the system. We had lean manufacturing and whatnot to remove waste. But as we use more and more technologies, we have to reduce more and more waste. So production efficiency is the key. And if we are more efficient, hopefully our cost structures become more competitive, our prices become better, we are able to sell more, so on and so forth. So this is one challenge that they see for manufacturing people, and we need to work on it. The second is about sustainability. So it's all about the impact we have on the environment. I think some companies already, I know a few companies and many of you could be doing it. So in any investment that we make, we do what is called carbon pricing. So if I'm going to buy a machine, I would look at the emission. The emission could be different. And then you give a dollar value to the emissions, like $5 a ton of carbon emission. And then you say, now let me take a call. And sometimes one ends up buying a more expensive machine just because the carbon emission is less. But that's really the way of the future. That's true. The third is in terms of flexibility. Remember, I spoke about mass customization. Now, for those of us who run factories, we would ideally set up, then stand back and let the output come out. But that's not really what's going to happen. If customers want mass customization and every second car has to be of a different color, how do we make systems that are flexible? The last part is resilient. We saw during COVID time, supply chains can get disrupted. Maybe the world has moved to the combination of maybe distant supply chains, but a lot of local supply chains. So what are we doing for resilience? And of course, the last part is about talent. And here I have a pointer for you, because we are in manufacturing. I think somewhere we have not done enough to make manufacturing be perceived as a, I don't want to use the word glamorous, but as a profession which adds huge value and which enhances the quality of life of people. We have just not done enough. Now, I understand the challenges of manufacturing. Many of us, including me, we have worked in shifts. When you work on the shop floor, you don't work in an AC atmosphere unless you're working in a machine shop. But you have to deal with the workmen. Dealing with humans is much more difficult than dealing with machines. We all know that. Large companies invariably have unions. Things are much better now. 20 years back, I tell you, there would be multiple unions and we had to talk to them. And it's not really the easier life that we had to go. But I think somewhere manufacturing cannot progress unless we attract talent. Today with IT and AI and ML and Industry 4.0, I think many of our problems are solved. I don't think we talk enough about it. So I think in every forum we should talk about manufacturing, the kind of difference manufacturing is making, the kind of value add we do, the kind of multiplier effect we have. And if we can get the talent to be with us, we can really go places. Now, This was from the consultant, a couple of more slides from the consultants. Now, essentially what this slide says is that this is from the Boston Consulting Group. They said that everybody recognizes the need to move to advanced technologies, whether it's additive manufacturing or whether it's AI or using advanced material robotics and all that. But the slide also says they've done a global research and they say most people are slow. So we shouldn't worry if we are slow. Globally, people are slow. And it's not because companies are terrible. The industry has what I would call it clock speed. Electronics has a separate clock speed. Software has a different clock speed. Manufacturing has a different clock speed. That's the big point we have to do. So we are well on course, is what I would say. And of course, consultants have a point of view on what the successful factories of the future would look like. There would be a lot of digitization, automation, process stability, so on and so on. But the consultants also give advice. Think that, if we are lagging behind, globally manufacturers are lagging behind, what should we do? So they talk about two solutions. One is they say embrace more technology, which is the bottom of the slide. Embrace more technology. The second piece they speak about is people. We need talent. We need great leadership. We need to change our way of working, be a little more agile, a little more speedier, and we must embrace AI in the organization. That's what they do. So this is only consultants. I began with secondary data. And I said, let's do mega trends. Third, in terms of what the consultants have to say as far as the future. On the last two slides are something which to me are really very important. And when I came here, you must have rarely seen me in a forum. So I came here for two reasons. One is because at Godrej we believe we are a manufacturing company and we wear it on our sleeves. So on the we are still Godrej Employees manufacturing company. We have not removed the word manufacturing today. We take pride in that. The second part is that manufacturing people need to think more business along with thinking manufacturing. So let me have this whole conversation a little more on business rather than in terms of technology and stuff, which really excites us. So the last two slides. Again, this is what we know. So I don't know how many of you saw the newspaper report. This is very, very recent. So BCG came out with the report, Boston Consulting Group. And they said India is one of the most competitive countries in the world as far as cost structures are concerned. So it's there. There was a newspaper report. There's also a presentation. But that's good news for us. So we have a great export opportunity. But I just want to tell you, India's time is now. And we should not miss it. Now, when I say India's time is now, what exactly I'm trying to say? See, one is, thanks to the geopolitical situation, more and more global manufacturers, and we heard about Apple, we heard about Tesla, everybody wants to come to India. For them, it's maybe de-risking time. But it's the second reason why everybody wants to come to India. And that's because of our large market. Business is rarely done on charity. People are coming to India, there's really a purpose, there's a market. Developed countries, the markets are saturated. China, a lot of question marks, political situation. India is the next big place to be. The third is, I think the government, there are a huge number of initiatives. We all know about PLI, there's a financial incentive, but there's one more, which is in terms of ease of doing business and creating the infra, the amount of investments we are making on logistics, the roads, multimodal transport and all that. So the government is creating that environment. I've always said that. I grew up here. Germany is the factory of the world. And I'm saying this is the time. India can be the factory of the world. Trust me. And if we have missed this opportunity, we have nobody else but ourselves to be blamed. India can be the factory of the world. Now the last slide. I just wanted you to leave with these thoughts. And I think rather than thinking about ourselves individually as a company, I said, let's look at manufacturing as an industry. What should we be doing? So first point is, we must think ecosystems. We cannot think about our own companies. So is the site of anyway, I know what I've written. So what happens is companies never win. It is ecosystems which win. So when Apple wins, what does Apple do? They design and probably they own the processors which they put the watches and everything. Where do they get their memories from? Samsung. Who does their assembly? Foxconn. Who is the banker? Who is the logistics partner? So it's a very different world. So actually, in my mind, it's Apple winning. There's an Apple ecosystem, there's a Samsung ecosystem, maybe there are other ecosystems, and the Apple ecosystem is winning. So when we go back, as manufacturing companies, let's not think about ourselves. Let's look at our ecosystem. And in our ecosystem, we have our suppliers, we have our logistics partners, we have our dealers, we have our distributors. And then the question is, are we thinking of optimizing on a whole, or we are only thinking about the profits? It's arrogant for any company to believe it can win by itself. It's arrogance. It's ecosystems which win. So let's develop those. That's number one. The second thing which I wanted to say was in terms of people. Now, we keep reading that India has this demographic dividend. We have a lot of young people. But we also read that most of them are not employable. And all of us are waiting for the government to build capabilities. Who needs the capabilities? Don't we need the capabilities? So what are we doing for skilling? How many of us work with ITIs? How many of us adopt ITIs? How many of us have capability building programs? How many of us use our CSR budgets for skilling? So I think we must go back. If we have to be the factory of the world, I would say more than technology, we require people. People come with commitment, with brains. We need to skill them. That should be where the first investment should be. The second. The third thing is, which I would say is, please think in terms of sustainability. If we have to be the factory of the world, we have to have green processes and we have to disclose what is going to be the environmental impact on the products. So just yesterday I was speaking to, we have a business, I was talking to the business head, and he was talking about ROHS and REACH, if you know that. So these are I think most of us believe it's expensive. It's not like that. Other than where I have seen in renewable, I mean, if we conserve water, aren't we better off? If we conserve power, aren't we better off? If we eliminate waste, aren't we better off? So why are we paying enough attention on that? That would be my third point. Is manufacturing with a soul. So do we manufacture with a soul? So let me mention this is something very close to my heart. See, all of us who are sitting in this room, and all of us who run factories, we have been blessed with a lot of authority in setting things right. So let me begin with inside our fence. We employ people. Those who are on a roll, probably we pay fair wages. And I guess we pay fair wages because we have not much of option. We have to pay fair wages, good wages, otherwise we won't get talent, or we have to pay fair wages to the blue collar workmen because the unions will negotiate. But in the same, within the fence, we also have a lot of people who do housekeeping. Many of you, we don't, but many of us probably outsource security, we outsource canteen. Bothered what kind of wages these people get. And the truth, the disconnect is we pay to the contractors the right wages, but kind of fall between the cracks. I think please pay attention to that. We owe it to them. If we are not exercising our power in establishing good, somewhere I think we have failed. Let's go outside our fence. Look at our vendors and all that. Look at the kind of environment they provide. Please look at safety. I was speaking to Sujata earlier. Godrej and me, we were involved in the safety as far as CIS is concerned. You know, it's shocking. You know, I come from a place where the philosophy is we owe it to every individual and his family that he has to reach home in the pristine condition he came to work. So, are we paying attention to our clusters of suppliers, or we are just looking at them as a vendor and as a party whom we should be considered to beat them on the prices? That's not easy. I'll give you one more example. Every factory will have raw material coming in and some output. So we deal with logistics. I don't know how many of you have seen what a trucker goes through. You know, every kilometer they are stressed. You hit somebody, you get hammered. You meet a cop, he wants money. Everywhere there are roadblocks. You know what we did, and I would urge all of you to do. We have 62 lakh square feet of warehousing space for Godrej & Boyce. We said there has to be a restroom, there has to be tea, there has to be coffee. We said let them park their trucks within our warehouse, because outside, I don't know if you know, in most places there are extortionists who take money from them. Otherwise, they say we will break your windows. This is also a part of it. So I'm just saying that we have the power, we have the infrastructure, we have the authority. Are we exercising it? And if we are not exercising it, I would conclude by saying we may end up being the factory of the world, but it will be the factory of the world without any soul. Thank you so much for hearing me. Please think as business leaders. Manufacturing is more than manufacturing, it's business. Manufacturing is more than manufacturing. Manufacturing is soul. Thank you.
Can we clap for him once again, everyone? We'd like to really thank and appreciate him being here with us today. To do the honors, to felicitate him, I'd like to invite on stage, ladies and gentlemen, let's clap and welcome Mr. Partha Karmakar, Vice President, Business Head, Professional Lighting, Havells India Limited. I'd also like to invite on stage Mr. Vibhor Srivastav, MD, ITP Media Group India, to join us. We'd also like to welcome on stage Ms. Sujata Vishnuraj, Editor, Manufacturing Today, to join us on stage and felicitate Mr. Anil Verma, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again. Well, partnerships are the cornerstone of event success, bringing together expertise, resources, shared vision to create memorable and impactful experiences. Collaborating with valued partners amplifies the event's reach and enhances its quality and ensures an absolutely seamless execution. Allow me to call upon our partner, ladies and gentlemen. Let's clap and welcome Mr. Surya Narayan Tripathi, Segment Head, Industry, Professional Lighting, Havells, for sharing their innovative offerings. Can we clap and welcome them, everyone?
India presents Impressions, a range of superior lengthy architectural lighting solution that simulates a productive working environment and offers limitless design possibilities from access to suspended. Havells' versatile Impressions range allow architects and designers to fully unleash their creativity and perfectly emulate every type of office layout. These human-centered luminaires mimic the appearance of the natural light colors throughout the day, replicating the sun indoors, with dim warm light in the morning, bright white light during noon, and dim warm light by evening. These economic lights have been shown to significantly increase productivity, creativity, health, and well-being in the office environment, and provide benefits to natural light even to windowless offices. At the heart of the Impressions range technology is human copper and health. They have extremely low unified glare rating of less than 6 for indirect light and less than 10 for direct light. Impressions range is also compatible with various smart control platforms like PoE, DALI analog, and wireless RF technology. With this, we are able to obtain real-time data analysis of occupancy and system health, space optimization, and setup preferable ambient scene setting. The top-of-the-line Mirage series features slim LED profiles that stand out for their near to invisible light source and highly efficient and clean design. The Mirage range features high transmittance, special micro-reflector optics with de-glaring covers, which give the incredible effect of focused glareless cast light, yet ensuring good uniformity and vertical illumination without any visible light source. Aside from being standalone suspended fixtures, they are perfect for continuous row mounting to create virtually endless and seamless line supply. With customized connectors, designers can create innumerable light configurations and patterns. Special micro-reflector optics with the glaring colors have an added good design to achieve precise low glare task light without compromising on vertical illumination and ambient lighting. Mirage is a freestanding light with near to invisible light source and clean-cut aesthetics. Mirage features an inbuilt occupancy and green light sensor and specially developed touch control panel for individual on-off dimming and color tuning, making personalized human-centric lighting accessible for individual workstations, private cabins, and desks. These high-efficacy lights also have an up-down feature which allows focused task light and a wide indirect light, ensuring great uniformity over the space. The crescent LED has graceful curvilinear design with a distinctive half-moon shape. The LED luminaire provides soft, symmetric, and ultra-wide direct light distribution over the workspace. It meets UGR less than 19 across the line of sight of occupant. The standards of slim LED profiles that can be recessed, mounted, or suspended. With UGR less than 19, these lights are perfect for seamless low mounting or limitless creative designs. These skeleton circular luminaires come in multiple sizes and have an effective height of 70 mm, generating diffuse splatter and low glare light in the light ceiling areas. The unique shape of Taurus longer gives the fixture an attractive identity as a perfect match for modern workspaces. This precision form decorated panel light included thermal form PLA diffuser with its high creative design with state-of-the-art LED technology. A stylish symmetry and perfectly diffused illumination makes the resilience. Three-dimensional diffuser adds beauty and enhanced illumination. The Venus range of low glare LED recessed panels has extremely low glare level. They offer human-centric lighting and support human circadian rhythm. The product features color tuning from 3000 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin with precise control on tuning and dimming. With inbuilt occupancy and daylight sensor, the product has self-learning feature of occupant light preference and maintains desired lux level. Apple's Impressions range, the new paradigm of architectural lighting.
Hello. Hi. Good morning, everyone. I am Surya Narayan Tripathi. I am the segment lead for industry professional lighting materials. Our objective today is to take you through efficient, smart, and durable and how we can support you in your productivity and growth goals. So starting, Havells is one of the leading fast-moving electrical goods manufacturing headquarters in Noida. If you see any of these brands, this all fall under the Havells group. For example, Havells, Lloyd, Standard, Crafty, Rio. Just a background on the Havells as an organization overall. We have about 19 product categories. We are 17,000 crores in turnover annually. We are $6 billion in market capitalization. We have more than 6,000 plus employees in India, 35 plus owned offices in India, 40 in-house manufacturing facilities across India, and more than 14,000 plus strong dealer network in India. Everywhere you want, every product that you see in an electrical good industry, Havells would be a manufacturer and we would have customers supplying. Just on the 19 product categories, just a glimpse of it. You name any product in the electrical field industry and Havells is a part of it. Be it industrial lighting, be it consumer lighting, be it cables, be it wires, be it switches, motors, pumps, power solutions, everything, appliances, water heaters. Every product is being manufactured in-house by Havells and is being supplied in India and across globe also. What is the strength of Havells? The strength of Havells I have divided into fourfold. The first is the in-house manufacturing facilities. Everything that we sell in India, 90% of the products that we sell in India are manufactured in India for Indian power conditions. We have about 14 manufacturing facilities, no or very partial vendor-based manufacturing. We are an ISO 9001, 14001, 45001 certified organization. Coming to the CRI of the research and development, CRI stands for Center of Research and Innovation. We have two R&D centers, one in Noida and Bangalore. It is to our esteemed requirement that everything from the concept to ultimately the product going out to the customer is being conceptualized, tested, validated for Indian conditions and done at our R&D centers in Noida and Bangalore. Strong service. Havells being the brand that it is, we are available in more than 450 towns and districts. We have about 250 plus owned service technicians, more than 2,000 plus service technicians, franchise-based technicians, 568 franchises, 24/7 call center. So God forbid if any service related issue occurs, we have that capability to reach you at the minimum possible time. In terms of supply and delivery, we have a fully automated system of ordering and delivery. We have about 35 own regional warehouses and the 14,000 plus dealer network also adds to it. We are available at every nook and corner of India to supply to your requirements. Now coming to the topic of today, how does lighting and what are the trends in manufacturing that we see and how do we correlate with the lighting point of view? So if you look at the trend, so we can divide the trend in the pre-COVID and the post-COVID era. So what we have seen recently is that there is a lot of emphasis on localized production and sourcing. There is a lot of focus on make in India and make it for the world. There is a lot of focus on employee safety, especially after COVID-19 hit. Increasing investment in Internet of Things, automated and connected assets and workforce, environmental regulation, green building certification has also come up very usually in the industrial footprint, predictive maintenance, which every plant user looks out for, and ultimately the shortage of skilled labor. Blue collar is the new white collar. Everybody is thinking about skilling of their labor. So we can categorize all these points in three major buckets. First is the sustainability part, which Anil sir also spoke about, continuous improvement and safety and well-being. Now diving deep into these three major buckets, the sustainability part. Why sustainability? 41% of the energy consumption in India is attributed to industry. We are talking about, we have already seen green building certifications in office environment. We have also seen the trend that this certification are also becoming a part of the industrial footprint also. Why? Why do we go for LEED certification? The reason is a LEED certified industry consumes more 34% less carbon dioxide, 25% less energy, and 10 or 11% less water. So sustainability, which was an afterthought or which for a multinational company has now become more of an imperative and a mandatory requirement of each and every industry. The second part is continuous improvement. We all want to keep on improving on whatever technology that we have. Majority of the organizations are investing in smart factory, or at least are planning. We already saw sir saying that the investment is slow, but it is going to take place over the course of few years. Remote operations makes things more safer and more efficient, but still 70% of the industrial maintenance users lack the knowledge of the predictive maintenance of their assets or equipment. The final point is the safety and well-being factor. It is a figure that may astonish you. As per Director General of Industries, there are about 3 industrial deaths every day in industry from the 2018 to the 2023, and more than 4,000 fatal accidents. Again, as per industrial experts, these are only figures on the lower side because these are only for the registered units. Now, fall and slip are the majority contributor to this accident, in which lighting also plays a very important role. A well uniform lit shop floor will have fewer accidents and fewer errors going forward. And the last is majority of the industries are sponsoring some kind of another wellness initiative in their organization. Now, this is what an Indian user wants from its manufacturing facilities. I have divided this slide. If you see the vertical line going through the middle of the slide, on the left-hand side is what you see is the current or the earlier industrial requirement that used to be. I need uniform lighting, I need good lighting, I need a reliable product, I need a relatable brand, I need warranty, and I need energy savings by installing lighting emitting diodes or LED light fit. This was the requirement. But now this has shifted to the requirement on the side. People want unique solutions that are compatible with their existing setup. They just do not want sufficient light. They want equivalent light which has the right glare, which has they want LED now. They want automation to become a part of their system, the well-being of their employees, and increase the productivity. Categorize the smart system into 4 main parts. The first one is a standalone system, which is the simplest form of an on and off requirement. The efficiency directly proportional to the efficiency of the fixture. Come up with an industrial setup. You float a BO according to that BOQ, and you get savings. This fulfills your basic requirement. The first level of automation that is possible, and it's the simplest form based technology. You take the install a sensor in the midst of the dumb room. What you will get out of it? You will dimming apart from on and off, and you will also have individual and group control. We'll deep dive. The next one is wireless control. The same occupancy control. Wired control, which is again wired based and is based on DALI technology. The possibility of having additional features increases from the wireless option because you can also integrate with your building management. Now coming to the basic occupancy control part of it, but the first step is required to take. We have to take that first. We are currently at the standalone version, the on and off version. I urge every one of you to take the first step and take the first leap of faith and go into the basic occupancy control and see the advantages that it has. Now, a basic sensor system, there are 2 fundamental and thus is not because any which will is more than 37 degrees and it detects 40 for the rest application. What we generally use in our majority of the products is detects movement. It not affect ambient temperature as a 360-degree detection. So in use in an industrial environment, we prefer to and this to give you that we have to ask for fittings which are enabled with microwave sensor and not sensor, specifically in an industrial environment. Now, how does this sensor operate? The operation is simple. When you order a particular fitting, you can give us a code that you want in your fitting. For example, if there is no movement below the fitting, it will always operate at 30% standby. Why 30%? Because safety of the premise should be maintained. In an industrial environment, you cannot have an off situation. So 30% is the standby mode. You can also select 3%, 70% on your requirement. Now, next, a user comes below the fitting in the area in which the microwave sensor operates. The fitting will go down to full power. Now, the user moves away from that environment. The fitting will not automatically or go back to the standby mode. It will wait for 5 minutes so that there is some additional movement. And if at all it detects no movement, it will go to the 30% standby mode, which you have selected at the time of order. Now, what is the advantages? It's over LED. There is to be done separately. There is no programming, there is no commission, there is no software which is involved. Sir already spoke that Godrej has about 6 lakh square feet of warehousing. Just imagine the potential of this kind of a sensor-based technology in a warehousing space, where you can give advantage or take advantage of savings beyond the LEDs also. So this microwave sensor is the simplest form of technology. There is no difference in terms of the wiring that you do in an industrial environment. So any existing setup can be installed with this kind of an option. So where are the application areas, godowns and warehouses, lowly populated workflows, all manufacturing facilities can be incorporated with such kind of microwave enabled sensor technology. The next is the wireless one, which we have an advanced version of the sensor based on the basic occupancy control. You have different areas. For example, there's a big manufacturing facilities. There are different shop floors. There is an assembly shop. There is a paint shop, etc., etc., etc. Each of the shops will have a gateway, wherein the with the radio frequency enabled driver communicates gateway to the local intranet if you want the data to be placed on local on the internet server, and if you want to be placed on internet, you can also go on cloud. So every area gives its data on the intranet, wherein in a single dashboard you can get the entire energy utilization of your premise. You can go off for predictive maintenance. You can check the component health, and there are a lot of benefits at a single dashboard that a user can get sitting at one place. These are the advantages which we have already spoken of. The energy efficiency, the advantage that you get over the normal LED fittings, the operational efficiency, you can go for scheduling, you can go for dimming basis your requirement, enhanced visibility, and the utmost of important factor is the data which you get, which is ultimately the most critical factor in currently industrial setup. Now, I will not go into the depth of the industrial portfolio, but if you see the first line, this is the heart of any industrial lighting requirement. This is the highway, which predominantly covers our shop floor. Now, how we are different in this factor is that firstly is the in-house manufacturing. So the quality and the product quality control is there with us. But next factor is the specification part. For example, people give an ingress protection of IP65, they give an ingress protection of IP66, and in fact, resistance of IP0. For food industry, we have specifically developed the high bay with polycarbonate cover. There are no screws so that it is compatible with your standards and manufacturing standards. The next line is the well glass, which is generally used in the cement and power industries. Again, you need a fitting which is durable and efficient. At the bottom, we see IP66 fittings and bulkhead. Team, if you can just play the video.
It's highly sensitive because the environments and facilities like hospitals, laboratories, and food processing plants that require special light fixtures which are engineered for extreme hygiene. Havells presents clean room lighting, a dust-free, micro-free lighting solution which offers ingress protection, non-corrosive housing, and highly precise craftsmanship to keep out even the mildest contaminants. The new lights from Havells reaches the highest standards of performance and durability. Each lighting range is designed to meet the needs of specific industries. And the need for extreme hygiene in hospitals and food processing facilities. Or life-specific process in pharmaceutical labs. The same value for semiconductor fabrication. Or even for maximizing yield efficiency and well-being. Available in various quantities, these lights are available with high efficacy AVs of highest quality, with long lifespan and high brilliance. A 565 rating ensures the number spot unity can affect the light, and the catalyst joins often space on microbes to settle. It is not even ensure safety and hygiene, but longevity and consistent performance of the luminaire. The limits further seen with whether the sweet anti-bacterial gasket that prevents growth of pathogens and bacteria. The frame allows system with special angular profile that forms a seamless surface with a ceiling without any space for the dart to settle into. The housing is fabricated of highly conductive material, resistant to corrosion. More easy to clean out working on top makes it resistant to scratches, flaking or chipping. The unique isolated driver inside each light cancels out magnetic fields to ensure non-interference with sensitive electronic equipment. These lights are fitted with high-grade diffuser repair, which offers industry's highest night out protection and gives up illumination that is bright, even glare-free, and most comfortable for human vision. The lights come in two categories: top opening and bottom opening, with two different ceilings and apartments. The two top opening lights are special.
So basically, this is what a clean room fitting looks like, specifically required for pharmaceutical industries and food industry. So if you categorize this fitting, there are three major categories. One is a bottom opening, wherein you can maintain the fitting from the bottom. The other one is called as top opening, wherein you have a walkable ceiling and you maintain the fitting from the top. And if you do not have any of these possibilities, there is a surface mounted clean room fitting, which you can install on the surface. Specifically in pharma, which has also been applied for in the PLI scheme. So there is a lot of interest in pharma, food industries where this kind of fittings can be utilized. The next is called as the all-in-one solar street light. If any one of us is looking for the easiest, simplest, and the quickest way to go green, is this all-in-one, or we call as AIO solar street light, wherein the LED or the solar panel is on the back side of the luminaire. There are LEDs at the bottom. There is a lithium-ion ferrophosphate battery inside the luminaire itself. So you have your manufacturing setup, you have street lights installed over there. You can remove those street lights and install this all-in-one solar street lights. It comes in two variants, standalone as well as hybrid. Hybrid meaning it will always give preference to sunlight first, but it will also have an AC cable going through it. So if at all there is some problem with the sunlight or the battery not getting charged, it will automatically go down on the AC mode, but there will be no darkness in your premise. Now, coming to how we are differentiated in terms of the solutions that we give. So we have seen that this is the general requirement of the industrial fittings, which is currently being given by majority of the competition for T ambient or ambient temperature up till 45 degrees. How Havells is different is every fitting that we supply, specifically the highways in an industrial environment, are justified or can be operated in an ambient condition of 55 degrees. But what if the temperature is beyond 55, specifically in steel, power, food, and metal industry? We have developed a solution, a high bay with an active cooling technology, wherein at a temperature range of 65 degrees as well, we can warrant the product for 5 years. So this is a unique solution that we have built in. We have already supplied to some of the steel manufacturers. The next product is high bay at the efficacy of 180 lumen per. This is the standard specification in the market, 110, 120 lumen per watt. This is the advanced one, which is currently being operated in the market, 150 lumen per watt efficacy product in the market. But what we have developed and we have supplied to one of the leading food and beverage industries is a 180 lumen per watt high bay. Just to give you an understanding on the energy saving part of it. For example, if you take an 80-watt high bay, you will get 10,000 lumens in it. And if you take Havells 180 lumen per watt high bay, the same light output you will get in 55 watts. Thus saving of 30 watts per fixture or 30% per fixture. Meaning, if you have an installed base of 1,000 numbers of high bay in your premise, it will give a savings to the tune of 1.6 billion Indian rupees annually. So all the basic parameters are already covered, but the efficacy is the differentiating factor in this particular product. Now, finally coming to the end of it, why should we choose Havells lighting? First and the foremost point is that and the final product, the quality and control lies with Havells. The second part is the research and development facility that we have both at Noida as well as Bangalore. There are 400 plus engineers working day in, day out to dish out products which are near to the customer requirements. The third is the reach and service, both in terms where Havells is present specific requirement of your particular industry where your environmental conditions are different. I would request and urge you to come and discuss with us. We will come up with a customized solution based on your requirement. These are the major clientele that we have supplied. We petrochemicals, industries, power, metals, automobiles, etc. To sum it up, sorry, that slide is not there. So that will be it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we clap for him once again? I'll request Mr. Hafiz Sheikh to join us on stage to thank and appreciate Mr. Surya Narayan Tripathi. Thank you once again. Next on our agenda is the industry keynote, ladies and gentlemen. We are honored to welcome our distinguished speaker. She's at the forefront of shaping the future of the last mile transportation for the Mahindra Group. As the Managing Director and CEO of the Mahindra Last Mile Mobility Limited, she brings a wealth of experience in developing and implementing strategic initiatives across various sectors, functions within the Mahindra Group. She holds an MBA from the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business and a degree in computer engineering from NTU Singapore. She has received several prestigious awards, including Women Leader of the Year 2022, Most Powerful Women 2022, the Green Ambassador of the Planet 2023, recognition from the India at G20 Impact Assessment Summit. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to welcome on stage Managing Director and CEO of Mahindra Last Mile Mobility Limited, Ms. Suman Mishra. Can we clap the welcome for everyone?
Hi, hello, yeah, hi. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be, I guess, talking about electrification, which is my topic of passion and interest. And I'll keep it very pithy and short because there is a lot and I do not know it all. So I'll try to share whatever insights I have gained in this area. I'm the CEO, as you said, of the last mile. We do everything under 2 tons, 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers. We are India's largest electric 3-wheeler manufacturer. We have been at it trying to electrify this category for last 2-3 years. As you know, Mahindra Group is one of the pioneers in electrification and has been talking about it for the last 10 years. So that's the business. And I hope this works. Yeah. So we are talking about manufacturing. So I said, let me contextualize it with the India's automotive sector. 50% of India's manufacturing GDP comes from the automotive sector. It provides employment, revenues, exports, all of these things. But it's pivotal, right? It's Make in India, it's the heart of manufacturing, lot of tier 1 auto component suppliers supply in Indian automotive sector. But one of the points that Anil also articulated, sustainability. Are we truly sustainable? Are we able to transition from what is the dominant mode of transportation today, which is the ICE vehicles, into a form of transportation which has lower tailpipe emissions? So yes, we have 50% of the manufacturing GDP, but we also have challenges if you think about the energy security for India. There is a oil import where the more cars are made and sold in the ICE domain, the more the energy bill increases. There is a lot of import dependency, largely related to the oil, but also raw materials, and also carbon emissions. So it's about us, it's about our future, it's about the air quality in the cities that we live in. And thus the technology we have always said technology offers a breakthrough. So technology has offered a breakthrough here in the form of EVs. Question is, can it solve the problem? Perhaps not, but it's clear that the zero tailpipe emission is better than a lot of tailpipe emissions. There are some other questions that is, infrastructure, renewable energy. Is it local? Are we still going to be making these vehicles in India? Maybe I'll try to attempt some of the questions. What is driving electrification? Focusing on the last mile. What are some of the issues, challenges, and how does perhaps the approach to it differ compared to the ICE? So this is why electrification is important. For someone who operates the last mile category, we are expecting anything 40-50% electrification in the next 6-7 years. And if you listen to say the Sherpa, he projected 100% electrification. Listen to the NITI Aayog, 70%, 80% electrification. So for someone in the last mile, not only is it like an environmental imperative, it is survival. And India's electrification journey will start in 20 years. And the point is that India's solution is not one that can be copied. There's nowhere else in the world where three-wheelers are made or this many three-wheelers are made. Maybe a couple of countries here and there. So the solutions that we make have to be designed for India by Indians. And therefore, it opens a whole array of where do we innovate, how do we innovate, how do we scale up. We cannot copy the powertrain for three-wheelers from anywhere in the world today. What is driving it is economics. In the last mile category, today itself, if you bought a vehicle over a period of 3 or 4 years, save more. The customer saves more than, let's say, he's buying an ICE counterpart. Now, the point of that is this is not the most sophisticated customer who is buying it for sustainability. He's buying it only because the economics works. And that is why I fundamentally believe this is the reason why this category is the fastest electrified, and we continue to do this. Of course, we talked about efficiency, productivity, and one of the biggest drivers of electrification has been the regulatory regime. For obvious reasons, we just talked about human dependency. We are talking about, the air quality. So for these reasons, of course, it is important that all of us as an ecosystem come together and scale the electric imperative. This is some math, like if you got, I was saying, if you got lithium-ion per kilometer, you can already save more than if you got any other counterpart. And this is without any incentives and subsidies. So this is WRI. This sort of analysis in today's context, it's not a future projection. This is why the green line is increasing steadily in India and the entire automotive sector. Green line is pretty much see that some time on from which the green line is followed. So today, without incentives, and with the level of incentives we have, green line becomes much more economically relevant. Yeah. These are the policy imperatives. Somebody mentioned PLI. I a couple of times mentioned PLI. The one thing and the good thing about policy support is all of them are contingent on domestic value addition. Any of these policies you will get except any of these policies you get only and only if we manufacture to a significant degree in India. Most like if you, I'll give you an example, right? Like FAME, the FAME policy that some of you might know about, the PMPC, it has category by category what should be bought from India. So the auto industry has been working hand in hand with the suppliers to encourage them to move to manufacture of electric components, because otherwise how do we comply with FAME, how do we gain the incentives, and the upfront cost is a bit higher, so we do need the incentive as it stands today. Again, the new PLI, so Mahindra, my business actually, last time we is the first company in India to get approval for the automotive PLI. That is a 25,000 crore subsidy scheme. It is the first time ever, but that required us to prove conclusively more than 50% domestic value addition at the tier level. So if you think about it, each of you, any part that any supplier in an ecosystem imports reduces from 5%, because at the tier 3 it is so many parts. If someone might be importing a part, it sets up percentages. So now all of us, all the OEMs, those who have gone into the scheme, those who are trying to go into the scheme, are now going to track till the tier 3 level, the level of import and domestic value. So this is actually in a way good for India, because it's mandatorily making us focus on domestic manufacturing and not just import and assembly. That's why I'm quite strongly believing that this will allow us to become export hub in a very short period of time, as soon as we can scale up within India and meet the demand, at least for the few categories which are very fast electrifying. So a little bit different, right? It's quite different. A lot. I was talking to some folks earlier, and they're traditional ICE vehicle suppliers, and they do have to change. Some of them don't have a role and many are evolving, but far fewer components and far more specific components, right? If you think about our motors, they're very simple, but they have to be very, very precision oriented. They have to be extremely efficient, and they really should not make any noise, because if EV, there is no ambient noise of the ICE engine, so you must have very very precise noise, because they relatively auto industry, whatever, but never heard that a line will stop because there is noise coming from the vehicle in the automotive manufacturing. But that is true in the EVs. If there is noise, the line will stop, because the customer will think, okay, there's a problem. Even though it's not a problem, it's just, it's a motor, it was perhaps not as finely ground as someone was telling me. Batteries are expensive, they're complex, they're a huge part of the vehicle, and batteries need thermal management expertise. That is again a completely new area, how to manage thermal for batteries in the context of India, when a lot of the cells are being imported. But as soon as API gets LIC comes, I'm very hopeful that manufacturers now make cells suitable for Indian conditions. This is a big need. We cannot just import the cells and put them into a vehicle. These cells are not designed for India. There is another whole area where engineering, science work, and physics work, all of them have to happen. Of course, lightweighting is a common thing in auto industry, but the supply chain is unique, different, and first time the auto industry realized that when it comes, we may be big in the mechanical parts, but when it comes to semiconductors, we are nothing. So last 2 years has been such a struggle because the percentage semiconductors we buy, nothing compared to your personal electronics. So my phone, the phone manufacturers, they buy in volume huge number of semiconductors, or your laptop manufacturers, or your whiteboard manufacturers, everything is semiconductor now. They buy far higher volume than what the auto industry buys. But now it is critical to our lives, right? We cannot make a EV without semiconductors. So this kind of fascinating and interesting opportunity and a new learning as we become pro. I already spoke to this. And then, of course, in the context of all this, what we have to put in digitalization, there's a lot that is going on in the group. I just take a few things by talking to our head of digital manufacturing. And all of this, which you all know, someone already mentioned, how there's a connected supply chain where a lot of semiconductor cell is imported and it can move through our entire system efficiently, right? Efficiently. We have all started with small volume plants. Now we have to scale up. How do we do that?